I see what's happening here. You're face to face with greatness and it's strange. You don't even know how you feel. It's adorable. It's nice to see that humans never change. Open your eyes, let's begin. Yes, it's me, it's Maui. Breathe it in. I know it's a lot. The hair, the bod. When you're staring at a demigod, what can I say except you're welcome? I love that you make people do that.
Oh, man, that was good. That was a great opener. Thanks,
you.
Shawn. Welcome to the construction life, man.
I'm super excited.
Thanks, man. I know I've been pressing you to get on the show, and then you've been doing your own show, just getting started.
Yeah.
How many shows you got going on now?
I think we have 10.
Nice.
Yeah, we're getting there. I'm going to be doing a few more like solo ones, but I kind of haven't need to yet. You know, like I'm having it as somewhat of a buffer. I wanted to have 10 before we started, but just December got a little crazy.
Of course. It's called life, man. Everything goes nuts.
Right? Yeah.
Wait till you start up. You got to start pumping them all out, man. Then you're going to be like, what the hell are you going to do at that point, right? So
I know.
Welcome. Honestly, it's gonna be good. We're gonna talk about drywall. We're gonna talk about everything mudding and what's going on, but also construction in general. So let me share out the deets. First of all, I got Greg's hoodie on, Generational Construction.
It looks good.
So he was actually on here before the holiday break, and then we had a great show. We were talking a lot about political, what's going on with the world and construction in Toronto and all kinds of crap and stuff like that. So Shawn's been in the business 20 plus. Brollys Dad Construction at gmail.com. Brollys Dad Construction on Instagram. And he wants everybody to be humble, treat everybody the same, and do your fucking job. That's what he wants, man. That's all. As simple as. If everyone could do that, then we would have a great industry.
You know, if you just did your fucking job, it would just make everyone's life so much easier.
Why did you start a podcast?
You know what? I was sitting around with a buddy of mine who's kind of like, he got somewhat famous doing Instagram, and we just got trashed in his backyard and just talked. And I was like, if they had heard that, if anybody had heard that, you know,
It's kind of how this one started.
it has to have been.
We didn't get trashed, but no, I had a few drinks. I don't think Carlito didn't touch anything because he says he gets violent when he drinks. So I don't know if that's a creation thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ones I've met, it is.
Still considers himself the creation sensation. But, no, we were just talking, and then we looked at each other and go, why didn't we just record what we just talked about? And I'm like, more and more people should start podcasts, construction.
There was this part of me that was like, that's ridiculous, right? And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to start bringing it up naturally. And everyone was like, you need to do that. And here we are. Yeah.
I'm telling you, Shawn, all we cared about in the beginning, we all just told ourselves, if one person's listening, we're fine with it.
Totally. My mom's listening. I know she's listening.
We have more than one person. You have more than one person. No, there's lots of people listening. You'd be surprised. A lot of people want to understand that they're not the only ones in the same boat.
Right.
Everyone's going through a lot of the similar things that we all went through or are going through, right? So where do you want to begin this little adventure, man?
Oh, it's your barbecue, man.
20 years ago. How young are you? You're younger than
36.
me. Oh, you're a baby. Holy cow, man. You're a baby. So you started as a kid.
Yeah, well, I felt like any asshole that with a wheelbarrow wanted me pushing it. I was like, out of grade 8, I was 5'11" and like 180 pounds.
Holy.
I was fucking huge.
So off the concrete.
You pretty much, I did a lot of landscaping and like, I don't know. I remember my buddy rolling a boulder out the back of a truck and I caught it to put it down. Yeah, like I think of stuff like that, and I'm just like, well, that
do it today.
That kills you. Yeah,
do it today.
Yeah,
no,
not at all, right? But it's I didn't really get serious until maybe 16 years ago, something like that. Yeah, 15 years ago.
So why the love to drywall? Where's the love for drywall?
It's kind of the makeup at the end.
Yeah,
you know. The other part of it is I frame. So I like to frame and board and then tape.
Okay.
Because you can just make everything perfect all the way along.
You're responsible for.
There's no one to fucking say they fuck
you. Can only argue it with yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I enjoyed drywall was the kind of the first love. You know, I was a sales guy until then.
Selling what?
Everything.
Construction sales or
no. So I left high school when I was like 16 and started knocking on doors for Sprint Canada's long distance. Honestly, dude, and like getting spat on in
one of the
suit
worst, huh?
But it's the best way to learn.
Ding dong, who are you? I'm selling you something.
Yeah.
Kiss my ass.
Used to ask for a glass of water because then you'd have that
Would it work?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so hot. You get a glass of water.
Sprint Canada. I remember that.
Yeah,
man.
so then my whole journey, somebody would go, what the fuck are you selling this for? Like, come with me and sell these knives or this water purification or whatever. And I got to the point where I was running a sales team out of Toronto for a Future Shop.
Okay.
It was wicked.
Oh, going way back. Okay.
Commission, dude.
Wow.
Yeah. We had a guy that year make 10 grand on Boxing Day. Yeah.
On pure commission.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he was an animal and like half of it got returned. But like, he was just like this. Oh, yeah.
Half of it got returned.
It's going to change your life.
That's how he was selling it?
Oh, yeah.
He was that infomercial guy.
Totally.
He just made it work. Huh?
Yeah, he'd walk.
Your marriage will be better because of this vacuum.
Absolutely.
That kind of thing, right?
Yeah, you want to lose weight? This TV's going to do that. Yeah, it was great.
You were just taking notes?
Kind of, yeah. Well, the guy that I'm not sure if I should say his name, but Ryan Vandrell was running the store. And he was like kind of the last of the old school sales guys where like you would not get the sale and your boss would go, you better get out there and get it or don't come back. So like, he would stand there like this, like just perpetual movement energy.
Looking for the gazelle.
Yeah. That's he was hunting is what you right?
Exactly what it was.
But in this Nerf situation, so you had this like absolute murderer, and he's like, but don't do that. Just like have some integrity here. But this is how you should do it. So yeah, it got good.
But you learned things from him as well too, right?
Tons, even about life, right?
Yeah.
Like everything's open, close, and whatever.
Young, same age as you guys, or
No, he was. I don't think he was 10 years older than me, but it was close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. We used to watch Boiler Room every Saturday. We'd come in early.
and throw it on the screen?
Honestly, yeah. It was a little bit much, but like we were like running the world at a Future Shop, right? It was a good thing to do in my 20s.
You're too young to. You guys would have been watching Wall Street instead of Boiler Room, right?
Yeah.
Because Boiler Room is basically just a knockoff of Wall Street.
When
right?
I found Wall Street, I was like, this is the
That's
one.
a different story, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. And then I went out of town learning how to frame board tape, and I never
From whom?
So it was DBN, the Drywall Acoustics out of St. Catharines, but they had like what I would consider like a bad company, like nobody wanted to work with anybody out there. Everybody was rough around the edges. And we just worked our ass off. And as long as you were doing that, nobody cared.
Okay.
But if you were like a slacker on site, you weren't there for long.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like
You were weeded out fast?
he was pretty abusive, yeah.
Was he?
Oh, yeah. But I liked it. And it was, after about a month of it, you were like, he's not abusive. He wants you to do your job, right? And if you don't want to do your job, go home, because it just made more work for the rest of us.
Where was he finding guys, or where were the guys finding?
It was a huge company. And I don't know if it was huge, but if we called for reinforcements, they were there. Yeah, it was crazy. So we would show up and build the exterior, board it, and then start framing the inside. And when it was time to board, they just like sent guys. I never touched taping the whole time I was with them. They would just send tapers.
So how fast were they boarding things?
Pretty quick.
Yeah.
Well, you board it up to the tops and then move on, right? And then when it was double layer, they were making double money, so they were moving pretty quick.
Wow.
But doing the tops took the guys that, I don't want to say with the brains, but, with the brains.
You had to be smarter about how you laid it all out and get it, right?
Yeah.
Plus you were mostly using 12s?
Did
Did they get as high as that, or no? They were...
I don't think we were.
No,
Well, like the boarders would come in and do things, so they were probably using 12s.
Okay.
Just stand-ups. We would come to almost like the last 4 or 6 feet and do all the tops around the wind bracing and the pipes and that kind of stuff. But once we started framing, it was over, right? Like I loved it.
It's not an easy trade, eh? Like it's not an easy trade to perfect.
It's easy to fuck up.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. It's really easy to fuck up, but it's not an easy trade to perfect.
Yeah, I think that's why I like it still, because it's the first time that I put a laser on a piece of track and shot it, and it was perfect. I was like, "Yep, this is it." It's because there's like close and there's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
And then how long? Because you didn't get started in mudding right away. So you got mudding afterwards. Was it a confidence thing, or was it just...
Pat wouldn't let me. I was always like, I don't know if it was because he had a worker under him or if he knew that taping sucks. Because if you're not framing, boarding, taping, you're at the mercy of the last guy. And your product has to be the way that it would be if it was perfect.
I thought the rock stars of that whole trifecta is the taper.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So they
You make things beautiful,
Yeah.
but if they look like shit before you start,
You
it's
can't
a
make it
lot of
beautiful.
work. Oh, you can. It just
more
takes
work.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then everything's on a timeline, right? So I started taping on my own, though, just because I wanted to, right? Yeah.
Where were you picking up the tips?
Anywhere. Oh, no, nowhere. I was just like caking it on the wall and sanding it back to where I thought was appropriate.
So how much was on the floor?
Oh, just all of it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But I mean, in all honesty, listen, I was like that in the beginning. It's
Yeah, you
all
have to.
you figure out how to feather.
Yeah.
You figure out how much material to put on there. You figure out, but that's a trial and error. You can't. I guess you can't really teach it. You have to. It's like the Force or something like that. You got to do it, right?
Yeah, the Force.
It's just what it is. I don't think I can see a person trying to teach that.
You can show people how and show them how you do it, but that like the muscle memory of it or whatever, you just got to do it.
There's a finesse going on with whatever. If you're a knife, you're a trowel, you're a hawk, you're a pan, whatever it is. Like you have to figure out what your body works with regarding all that stuff.
I've tried to pick up a trowel half a dozen times.
Yeah.
And it's just weird.
You're a knife guy.
Yeah.
I'm a knife guy mostly, but I know a lot of guys just live by trowels, right? And
Well, I think it's smoother too. Like I like it. I can't do it.
machining. You're all machining.
That's it now. I quit taping.
Yeah.
It sucks. Yeah. Like you can't do your corners properly. Sanding when it's not perfect, you're just sanding all the time, and then you're coming back for touch-ups. When I picked up the machine stuff, I was like, this is mint. And then it was fun again. Like a good friend of mine, like I said, he got pretty well known on Instagram, and he was with Columbia, and it was like skateboarding was in high school. I keep referring to it like that, where it was cool. It was that thing you wanted to do, but like you're probably never going to do it, but you could appreciate it. And then I took a job as a site super where the guy said I could frame board tape if I wanted to. So it was like the best of both worlds for me. But I told the signing bonus was the Columbia tools. I was like, you buy that, I'm in. And I'd never used them before. I said I did.
So you just lied.
Oh, fucking yeah.
But everybody lies.
Right? I knew that I would be that good as what I said.
Give me the tool.
That's right.
You'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was good.
But I mean, these tools nowadays, it's really not so much about the tool as much as the maintenance of the tool and taking care of that tool.
100%.
Otherwise, fine. The first one right out of the gate, your sea biscuit. After that,
Yeah.
your dog meat.
6 months in.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what people slowly forget. Like they don't realize you got to maintain this crap. Otherwise, it becomes an issue.
Or buy new shit. Right? That's the other part of it. If you're the type, like I don't wash buckets. I throw them out. I don't care.
Really?
The amount of time that it takes me to sit there and fuck around, get covered in everything, and it's $3. Next.
Gone. Use a new bucket. Start from scratch.
Super wasteful. I get it.
Wait, speaking of which, why are buckets? You mix some stuff inside of it, and all of a sudden there's a hole somehow. Hairline crack hole at the bottom.
Yeah.
You got water in it, and all of a sudden there's a puddle underneath, and you're like, I know water didn't spill out of that bucket.
Yeah, no, you punch the side of it.
So
with
why?
your-
What? It's got to be the plastic is probably getting thinner, and now you're using a mixing blade inside there.
So the mixing blades that I use are like a level 5, and they're only about this big.
Yeah.
And it kind of creates more of a tornado as opposed to a mix. Like
Yeah.
those big paddles, I think, are for concrete.
Yeah.
But if you're spinning those around and you do this, you're slapping that plastic pretty hard.
So all of a sudden you create a crack at that point.
Yeah, and then you're covered in it. Everything's covered in it. I lay down a sheet of drywall and put all my stuff on top of that now.
Yeah.
Because it's like this particular spot is going to be toast by the end of it.
But that's how the pros do it, man, to get it all prepared, right?
I've seen it on the internet.
Do you guys? I know that Gary was actually doing a job recently, and all of a sudden things changed as they do.
Mm-hmm.
All the drywall got covered up with millwork. Wasn't originally planned,
Okay.
but then the drywall that actually did the work saw the post, and he was like, "Wait a minute, is that so and so job, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "What the fuck? Why is it all millwork?" He goes, "They changed it. They added all this millwork." So he spent all this time and effort doing all these joints, sanding, getting it all ready, primed everything, all this other crap.
Yeah.
Then the millwork comes in and just covers it all up, and then this is when you wish that, because it could save cost at that time, right?
Totally.
It could save time on the schedule.
Time on the schedule, yes. But you're not going to go and half do something.
No, you won't. But it's almost like, okay, if clients know that they're going to put crown,
Yeah.
don't be asking the tapers to start doing the corners.
Right.
Save that cost.
Totally.
Right. But then they're back of their mind, they're thinking, well, let's just do the corners because if we change our mind about not putting crown in, then we have that option.
Right.
Well, plan B at that point, right? But if you know you're committed to crown, then why do you need to do the corners? Right. You don't need to do it, right? But I know that a lot of drywallers get a little upset, a little tweaked about that because it's like they spend all this time.
It's like your art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now it's covered up. Well, it's still there. It's just been covered up. Shot with some finishing nails. That's all.
Yeah. There's a million holes in it. I always say that like the taping community at that high level is just like a dick measuring competition because it's like, how perfect and straight and symmetrical is everything that no one's ever going to see. It's just for us. And then you personally walk away from that like, or whatever. Yeah. You post it. But the customer never sees it.
They don't care so much about that.
Nobody cares.
At that point, they're just looking at it as just it's a wall. That's all it is.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
What color am I going to paint? What Chantilly lace am I going to paint this? What basically, and then figure out what the rug's going to be, whatever the furnishings, all that crap on there, right?
I never see that, so which is nice.
I'm always curious about drywallers and why more clients are not willing to go level 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And actually do full skim coats. Go back to the traditional way. I know that in Europe they do a bunch of that stuff, but they're also dealing with concrete walls, so it's all parging and things like that. But that gives you a nice consistency on that board, right? And it looks beautiful because I still see joints. Doesn't matter how nice they are. I still see where mud is. I know where the butt joints are. I know where the joint. I know where the nails are. I know where everything is. Right.
You get that eye for it.
You got it. So if you skim the whole thing and I know that the paint companies got involved and they started creating their level 5 kind of paint.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not the same thing as mud level 5, right?
Oh, like the thick viscosity.
It's a very thick, yeah. And then it gets sprayed on and then it kind of just settles and it gives you that kind of level 5 feeling. It's close.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
But it's not the same thing. Yeah. But then again, like you said, clients don't really notice that shit.
No.
Only tradespeople that have been in the business or appreciate the business will see that shit, right?
We were building the Vision Brampton, massive building, and there was a stairway kind of 1, 2, 3 up.
Okay.
And the guy that I had come in and tape it, he's looking at it and he's like, this is all windows. I got a level 5 this whole thing. Yeah, it was like a 30-foot wall by 20, and he did it. No extras, nothing. But that's exactly what you were saying. Sunlight. Right? You could walk away from that and go, or you could do it properly. Yeah.
Clients don't even understand that one.
No.
Seeing direction of sunlight and what's going to happen, and all of a sudden you'll see all that stuff.
Everything's covered up. And then you pay everybody and take everything down and go, oh.
And then you move in, and now you have that beautiful, long, sunny day, and you're like, I can see everything now.
Yeah. It's a bummer.
So you're not taping anymore?
I do.
Yeah.
I take on, I'm very fortunate. So at the beginning of last year, I started, I was approached for contract work, running big sites.
Okay.
And it was attractive. Very attractive. So I took it.
More money, less responsibility.
Yeah, like
security.
A lot more money.
Yeah.
But that's like 6 to 2 or 7 to 3. Like it's 8 hours, dude. Yeah,
not a bad hour.
And if I can rock the week, sometimes you get your Friday and it's salary. Like it's a
so
win.
You didn't take it?
I took it.
Oh, you took it. Okay, all right.
But now I'm not feeding myself off the other stuff, so I can be picky with the clients. I can walk in and take a look at the board and go, I don't think so, or I need 15 days because I'm only going to be here 4 or 5 hours a day after my other job on the weekends, things like that.
Got it.
We did a lot of jobs like that we lost. It just wasn't a win at the end of the day. Even if it was financially, it didn't feel like one.
Okay.
So I'm a lot more picky now, which is good. But I love running the tools, right? I did a basement and a bathroom for free the last quarter last year.
Why?
Just I want to run the tools.
That's all it was? Really? You wanted to just get wet again? Really?
Yeah, it's nuts.
I'll do it for free if it's for myself.
Yeah, well, and you know people. It's good karma points too. I always feel that. Yeah, a sucker for pain a little bit too.
I want to ask you what mud are you preferring these days? Well, there's only 3 types on the market.
Yeah, I'm not particular to any, to be honest.
You'll make any mud work?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I like it to be in a bucket. So it's been certaintied, but now CGC's come out with the bucket too. I think I'm more particular to them, to be honest, just because they've got the different machine mud and the, red and green,
Yeah.
so why not? But then I got to buy the bucket. So that's kind of what's made it for me, to be honest. It's kind of a shitty answer.
It's cheaper for them to be in the boxes.
Yeah, probably.
What? It's got to be, I don't know. Someone could send their hate mail. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to wonder how much material is still left in that bag when you try to squeeze it out
It's
of
a
the
bunch.
box.
Yeah.
And multiply that to the 10, 20 boxes that you use on a job site.
Mm-hmm.
And that probably accounts for half a box, if not more.
Like per site?
Yeah.
Probably more than that.
Probably more, right?
Oh, yeah.
So all of a sudden they're getting a free box
Yeah.
of mud every time, right? Multiply how many jobs that are going on and all that. I totally think that's a, I don't know, cornflakes in the box and the box has gotten smaller and there's less volume inside kind of mentality. It's marketing
Yeah.
at that point, right?
Yeah, bucks to whatever.
That's how I look. Listen, man, we all get savvy when we get into the supplier stores and all of a sudden we're walking around and going, well, hang on a sec. They're making more money off of me. They're charging me more.
Yep.
They're giving me less and they're making more money off of me. So I got to transfer that over to the client at that point, right?
Well, and that's what it all comes down to if you're good, right?
Yeah.
You start to realize little fluctuations like that and you start incorporating it. Other people are like, it's kind of my price and this has always been the price. But it's like, that's not how this shit works. Yeah. Yeah. I was one of those guys year one where I always feel like I don't know, like I could do more,
What do you mean?
Like you come into a client's house and something happens and you're like, I could just fix that instead of.
But it's not part of your scope.
It's not fucking anywhere close
And
to
they're
my
not
scope.
paying for
Yeah,
it. In the
exactly.
beginning, I agree with you. I was the same way. It's like, why not do this? Since we're already here and we ripped this apart and this is going to get renovated, or would you be interested in doing this? I mean, for the most part, they would say yes, they were interested, but then the numbers started coming in, they would downsize. Yeah. And then, you as a tradesperson, you're thinking, well, I could just do that because I'm there already and I know how to just do that, right? So...
And it would be better at the end of the day, right? Yeah.
But they don't see. They want it, but they don't want to pay you.
Bingo.
For doing that.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm renovating my own basement into a unit.
Nice.
I've spent more time and effort and cursing because I'm moving so many mechanical components and plumbing components and electrical components to basically make my life easier later on. Right. So I'm already like trenching, running new lines for bathroom drains and everything like that. And I'm like, well, that clean out could just move 2 feet that way. And now all of a sudden this room's got no clean out in it. And now I've got a full room with no clean out in it in a basement. So I was actually fortunate enough to move out of 5 clean outs. I moved 4 of them.
Nice.
I only had to move 1 technically to actually do the project. Yeah. But the other 3, all of a sudden I said I could just literally move it. 1 was maybe 4 or 5 feet the furthest that it got moved, right?
That's not bad.
So I'm like going, but the problem is that you're breaking concrete for all of those where they are and where they're going.
Right.
So then it became like a whole war zone of all these holes because you're moving them back and forth.
Yeah.
And then it just became like you're destroying the concrete, removing all the old concrete, you're bringing in new concrete. Yeah. And then like the pipe work was nothing. But then I look at it like, that's the best spot for a clean out right there. It's out of the way in a mechanical room, accessible for future if you ever need it. Right. So I just started looking at it like, I'm already here. I'll just change this. I'll move it and I'll organize it better, right?
Yeah.
And the Sparkies are doing the same thing for me right now when they're running a bunch of stuff. And I'm like, this is brilliant. Great. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I wish clients would see the value in doing all those little things because in the end, it actually makes your home much better and more maintenance friendly.
Right.
Like I actually have been calculating the exact amount of space that I need just for the furnace area.
Okay. Yeah.
So exactly where the walls are going to be that you can still service this whole, you can service the hot water tank. You can still service the clean outs, the 2 that are in there.
Not in there like this.
Yeah. You're not. And then also I asked the Sparkies to go in there and I'm like, put 3 lights in here. I want 3, one here, one here, one here. Because when you turn the switch on, I want this to be like fully lit. I don't want anybody to be like coming in here with a work light or a flashlight or whatever to do the servicing. I want them to just turn the light on, do the servicing.
See, but that to me is correct. I always tell people it's like the Matrix, right? Now, when you get that eye, you just see everything and like, oh, this would work better if. Yeah. And then, when you're in your position, you can do that. And then it will work out, obviously for somebody else. But it's, I appreciate that.
I'll share it on a future show where I'll talk about, because I'll break down the costs and I'll figure it out. Obviously, I'm doing everything myself, and I got Sparkies coming and doing their work, and I got HVAC doing their work, because I even calculated to figure out to move the furnace.
Okay.
Not move it, flip it 180. So then I could have more space on the back end for the actual unit, and then I can have it accessible from the front end on my side.
Oh, as opposed to working on the other side of it.
And then moving the hot water tank 3 feet away from the furnace, so then I still have 2 feet in front of the furnace to service that, and then service the hot water tank. Yeah. So I actually figured out exactly the perfect amount of space that you need to service all this crap. But the thing is, I want to break down the numbers to explain to clients that I go, listen, stop listening to idiots on TV or people that write articles for HGTV, because they don't know what they're talking about, and then exactly present the numbers that would cost to do all this stuff. So then later on, because you will have to change your furnace, and you will have to service a hot water tank, and you will have to do all these things during the course of the house. And so you might as well make life easier for the service people that come in to do this, man. Yeah.
Everybody wants that little bit off of price-wise. And when I walk into a situation where it's going to be a cakewalk anyways, I'm like, yeah, all right. Right? So if you had somebody coming in to move a furnace and they don't have to like be a gymnast to do that, you know, and they go, hey, can we get a cutback? The guy's going to go, sure. Right? This is 2 hours of not fucking around you know what I mean?
It's funny. Yeah. The clients do ask for a little bit off every time.
Insane.
So then why can't we turn around and say, can I take a little bit off the scope that I got to do originally?
That'd be great, right?
I can't do that.
No.
Because you guys are like, I could cut corners.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do that.
But could you?
I can't do that.
No.
It's the reason why you're doing certain things. And I'm like, you're already here. Like, just get this done. It's done, right? So I'm even going as far as I already know that there's going to be a future deck. So I'm already going to put in the through bolts.
Nice.
Because I won't have access to get those through bolts in later on.
Right.
So
you got
like,
everything open.
Yeah. So it's that might as well do it now. It's just, what does that mean? It takes me like 2 seconds to drill a 1/2-inch hole to run the thread, put the nut and washer on the other side, and then the bolt's there.
And then you know it's solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now you're into the rim board, right? Traditional rim dimensional lumber, not the OSB rim board.
Yeah, they're like,
I don't understand that shit, but that's engineering shit. There's a lot of, like, I don't know, there's all kinds of stuff. I really wish that, like, even with drywalling, they would go back to the full skim. I think that's where it should start. And I think closets should only be taped, butt joints.
yeah, okay. You heard of Fresco Harmony yet?
Why does that sound familiar?
It's like trying to think of what the expensive part of it would be. Venetian plaster, basically.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it's mud. So you color it, and then you texture it, put it on the wall, and then that's your paint, your mud and tape, and then you just seal it. There's no sanding
with that stuff?
Yeah, I'm going to try to. CSR just picked it up. Nick Harmon owns it, and we've been back and forth a lot. I'm excited about it. But
I want to get into some of that shit.
Fuck, it's cool, man. It's super cool. Some of the stuff that Nick does, he's like an OG, right? He's like 15 years into it. But some of the stuff he does, he swirls second colors into it, and it's wild. Down in Albuquerque, they're like spraying full houses with it.
Exterior, interior?
Interior.
Really?
Yeah, and there's a texture to it.
But there's a little bit of troweling still afterwards that you have to do, or no?
Yeah. If the guys that are spraying it, I think they're using sand. So you have a heavy grit sand, and then you come back the second one with a lesser grit sand. I could be wrong. Sorry, Nick.
No.
But as you're troweling it, it's kind of like stucco, where you've got a bunch of pores from the heavier, and then the lighter goes in and just smooths it. But it's not smooth, you know? Everything down there's bullnose, too. I'm interested to see how we're going to implement it up here. The way I'm looking at it is like what you got here behind you, that feature wall.
Yeah.
You do a nice feature wall, because the company that I contract with, we do a lot of like designer work.
Okay.
So you got a big office of some guy, and what are you going to put on the wall, right? Yeah, we'll pitch him the fresco.
They do the bullnose because a lot of that stuff down there is concrete based, right?
Oh, okay.
So they're trying to get more of that authentic thing.
Okay.
I know bullnose has never really taken off here in Canada.
It's super difficult. I've never used it enough to get good at it, I should say.
It's actually, well,
it's just like inside corners. And
yeah,
stuff.
I'm going to try to mess with something, like, because I back in my head when I started doing the rental, I started thinking about how I can use it a certain way, and I'm going to try to figure out how I can use it. I'm not a fan of the bullnose that has a transition to the baseboard.
Where it comes out to that.
Yeah, so then you can actually do your 90 baseboard. I just find that, to me, it looks like a mistake.
Yes.
I think that if it's a bullnose, I think it should be clean and it should go right down to the bottom of the floor.
Yeah.
That's what I think, right?
Same.
But yeah, everyone's different. I'm trying to figure out how I can use it somehow. But I mean, I kind of like it.
Me too.
I like the look of it. But I guess it's like, it's been crazy lately is wallpaper.
You know what? More and more I'm seeing it, and it's nice. Like it doesn't look like shit. That's
Goes
for
back
sure.
to like, gone are the days that a whole house is drywall. You're getting covered up by paper. You're getting covered up by trim. You're doing plastering techniques. You're doing, like, gone are the days. I don't think clients want flat walls anymore.
I think it's boring, right?
They just don't have the money for art or anything like that.
Well, it could be
Definitely
it
not
too.
family photos.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a bunch of different pictures of people put together.
Let me do a little history here.
Yeah.
I think this has come up once before, but I actually wanted to just remind everybody the term blue collar.
Okay.
So it's used to describe a type of work that is typically characterized by manual labor, a lack of professional or white-collar status, and a low level of educational or vocational requirements. The term is thought to have originated from blue-colored work shirts that manual workers often wore, in contrast to the white shirts worn by office workers and managers, which were considered to be white-collar jobs. The term has been traditionally used to describe jobs in manufacturing, construction, mining, and other similar industries. However, it can also include certain types of service jobs such as janitors, security guards, and truck drivers. Blue-collar workers often earn lower wages and have less job security than white-collar workers, but they are often seen as the backbone of the economy.
Totally.
And I would say there's probably more white-collar in prison than blue-collar these days.
We're too busy to get in trouble.
So, Shawn, where do we want to go from here, man? Brollys Dad Construction at Brollys Dad Construction, and then Brollys Dad Construction at gmail.com.
Pretty exciting stuff. I'm just getting into YouTube.
Okay. You like it?
I'm still, my feet are just wet, so it seems like it's a lot.
It's a vicious machine.
Yeah.
But it's nice that you get different people finding you through it.
That's what I'm finding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys have talked about on your show?
Mostly the industry.
I know you had Stephen Royce on there from Three Way.
Yeah. They're, what we got into a little bit with that is, their product is great for sure for, guys that are not as skilled, you know what I mean? But what we got into, which I didn't understand, was like the money aspect of it.
Okay.
Like Royce is a little bit of a genius, right? He's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
And he does like this stopwatch stuff and starts to understand where his time is going. And that three-way starts to cut things down. But when we started talking about it, he was like, you could pick up a laborer, right? And then to get him to a point where he's making you money, you're a long time.
That's almost any trade.
Right. So these three-ways take up the most time. And then you've got this thing that a laborer could do. So do that.
Yeah.
Right. So now the kid's at least paying for himself to learn to do the rest.
Yeah.
And if he fucks it up, pull it down. The thing's $3.
Yeah.
Right. So that was kind of a little bit more because I've talked to them since, and we're going to see if we can get them out there a little bit more. I would like to do anything where it gets guys to pick up younger guys to show them if somebody showed me at 17 that I could do this, I'd have a very different situation.
Why aren't more guys doing that?
Because it's not worth their time.
So that's what it is.
Yeah, like 80% of these kids don't want to work. It's right. They want to
they just want to make money,
make apps, and it's be given money.
Yeah,
yeah.
And they obviously think that their worth is higher than what they really have in return.
But it's that old hard times create soft men or whatever.
That thing, exactly.
I grew up in a house we didn't want for much.
Yeah.
Like Dad was always working, right? But if you're not understanding that it's because he's working so much that we're not wanting for much, if you just grew up in a situation where this is what life is.
Yeah.
Right? And if I'm going to move out, I'm going to need all this money. So
it's too much comparison these days.
Yeah.
All these kids are comparing themselves to other kids of other parents that have other things that are going on, right? So when you start hearing about certain people, I guess their parents are retired at 50, have 4 or 5 houses, spend 6 months of the year in Spain in one of the houses.
Yeah.
That child is being compared to by another child, right? And they're like, well, that's where I should be.
Yeah.
But not necessarily. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
You may not be that same situation. It's not that you have to work your ass off or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, why not work?
I'm telling you, that when people ask me, my favorite conversation is when people sit around and talk about what they do if they won the lottery.
Yeah.
And I did nothing different. It's just for me. So I would like build houses from the ground up myself and then live in them for a bit till I'm bored and sell it.
Yeah.
Like that's what I would do, and I would be happy. Now I would vacation a lot more. You know, everything would be
Build
new.
houses in different countries.
That's what I mean. You know, go travel the country and go, oh man.
I would totally be game with building houses in different countries and
This
just
view.
figure out which rules to piss off there and then build them there, right? So
Yeah.
what do you mean I can't do it that way? Well, sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to do it that way. How do we figure that out? Does
Yeah.
this little envelope of money help me figure it out?
Well, when you got unlimited envelopes, man, you can do some cool shit, right?
Not saying that there's corruption, I guess, in construction all over the world, but I am saying there's corruption in construction all over the world.
Not saying there is, but there is.
It's just, I don't know. I think if it comes with humans, I mean, they're the most vicious species on this planet.
Totally.
And it's all driven by monetary. So if you can corrupt somebody, it's going to be a human being.
That's where that be humble comes from.
Yeah.
I have to, it's more for me than anyone else. It's just like settle down, right? Go do something for someone else if you're getting too wound up.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's a good feeling, actually.
I love it. I don't know. I love doing good, man.
Why not teach?
That's where my head's getting to now is I used to be in a situation where I was teaching all the time and I got a lot from that. But I don't know, like I thought about doing it and I brought a couple of guys in that first 2 years and it was rough, man.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, now I'm losing money now trying to teach and I can't do that. Right. So then the more somebody knows when you bring them in, the more bad habits you have to unteach them first. And the people that are so young that they don't know anything can't drive yet. You know what I mean? They got to,
Or they don't have a car.
yeah. You know what I mean though, right? Like
Yeah.
there's always hurdles. I kind of thought that's where we were going to get to last year before I picked up the contract work. It's, I've talked to guys that have done like not a trade show at a school, but you know what I mean? Like there's like a shop class and they'll let you take a kid on for a semester.
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
Just co-op students.
Co-op.
Okay.
That's exactly what I'm looking at. Yeah.
But a lot of people in the business, they've tried it, they've had bad experiences with it, and then they don't really want to do it anymore.
I was fortunate enough to have summer students through other people's companies, and it was a nightmare.
Was it?
Oh my God.
What was the bad part?
It is showing up for work.
They don't even show up.
For one. So we would leave the shop at 5. No, 5:15.
Okay.
So on the road for 5:30.
Okay.
I'd get there at 5 because the owner of the company would get there at 5. So it,
Kind of makes sense.
here I am.
Yeah.
And then you'd wait around. But I mean, I'm there for a half an hour and you still can't get here. Like, come on, guys. And then when they got there, they're useless because they're kids. But so I don't expect you to do much. I expect you to show up. And they just wouldn't.
They're just showing up with crusties in their eyes, and they just literally woke up from spending up all night kind of thing.
You would have a discussion with them. What did you do last night? Oh, I got home, had a nap. And I was up till 3 o'clock, and then I went back to bed. Okay, well, that was 2 hours before you were supposed to be at work.
Why were you up at till?
Exactly. And they would have answers for you that were like, where is that real? In real life, is that an answer? On YouTube.
Do they learn?
My friends.
But they're not learning the lesson that this is not right.
No. And I think that's where I'm so fortunate for the people that taught me. It was a hard road, right? That like people being hard on you when you're fucking up is important.
Yeah.
But there's no more of that, right? Because you're hurting people's feelings. But it's like your feelings should be hurt if you're an idiot. Like not an idiot, but I mean like
If you make a mistake,
Yeah.
you should be well aware that a mistake was made and it was made by you. I'm not saying that you should be taunted
No.
and ridiculed, but you should be aware that you made a mistake.
Correct.
And then understand where it went wrong. And then obviously don't try to make it happen again.
Right.
But understand how to make it better the next time around. So you don't make that same mistake, because I guarantee you will make another mistake. Right. And I'll tell you again that you made another mistake. But that's how you learn.
That is in my opinion, one of the biggest parts of being a leader is letting people fail accurately, like, and under supervision, let them fail, where everybody's ass should pucker up and go, oh, I fucked that up. Should I lie about it? Should I, you know what I mean? Can I hide it? Oh, he's going to be mad. Everyone should feel that. And then when they come back with their tail between their legs, you tell them, hey, man, it's all good. This is how we're going to fix it. Or you ride them a little bit and then show them how to fix it. And they're like, oh, that's not a big deal. No, it's not. But like, you can't just fix it. You got to allow people to go through that emotion of doing it. Same with pressure. You got to let people feel pressure, right? Even if it's not real pressure. I did that all the time where I was like, we got to finish this week, right? And we'd had 3 weeks on the calendar to do it. So you push.
Just to kind of push them, right?
Why not?
Because then they can understand that's the importance of it.
So down here with us, we failed this week. It was a hard week, right? But in the office, when I'm back there, they're like, you guys are crushing it. I'm like, yeah, I know.
It's actually a good way to look at it.
It's so smart, man. Yeah. It's your universe when you're teaching, right? It's your classroom,
Every trade should be doing that, should be teaching them, understanding that instead of, but then also the kids that are trying to learn, they should be stepping up for that.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be intimidated to the point where it's like, well, you hurt my feelings. Yeah. This is construction, man. There's no time for feelings, right?
Soft skin.
That's how it is, right?
Which isn't even fair because a lot of the women that are in the industry have soft skin and they're kicking ass too. Like, so there's no fucking excuse anymore. Like, it's, on these Facebook groups, oh, you hit screws like a girl. And I think of like 5 of the girls that would kick your ass if you guys went up against each other. You know what I mean? So I'm like, thanks. I'm good with that. I always had this thought with women in the trades. So same thing when I was teaching.
Yeah.
When I find a person that deserves the focus, right? We're going to definitely stay late. We're going to definitely work on the weekends. Okay. And then on the hard days, we're probably going to go for dinner and just have unwind. A couple of drinks and unwind.
Yeah.
Tell me what you're stressed about. In my opinion, that's a real leader. You're taking care of someone while teaching them. Now, if that's a woman, the perception from outside is very different.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's fair because you're going to have guys that are like, this is the one, but all this other shit is going to be in the way of that.
Yeah.
And that's hard. I think we're getting past that. But I can imagine in the beginning that was a nightmare.
No, because it was the last, I guess, safe, masculine environment. Yeah. I just left my home that has, I've got 15 daughters and I've got my wife and I got the mother-in-law, whatever, all that stuff.
A lot of estrogen.
Exactly. And I come to the job site and I want it to be my last masculine haven or something, right? But that's the old school guys. I think that the new school guys are understanding that this environment is both of us.
Yeah. And
it should be.
My understanding of being a man isn't doing all that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm past that. It's like, I act the same way. Now, my language is a little different and my jokes are a little more offside, but I act the same way around my mother that I do at work because I treat everyone the same.
Yeah.
Right? It's, my mom's not a big fan of my language. So, but there's little things that you do, but everybody has to be treated the same. Like back when I was in sales, the regional guy would come around and I would do nothing different. And everyone, he's coming. I don't give a fuck who's coming. He's here
just
to see how
guy.
I operate.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is how I operate.
So you're not going to be a different character.
Tap shoes on?
Yeah.
No, there'd be none of that.
How's Brollys kind of... I don't even know that kind of... What generation is he? He's not generation... What is he? Generation what?
He's the one that's going to save the world. That generation,
I think. Is that what it is? Yeah?
I think so, man.
Okay.
There was this, lull of lazy. And then I start to see, he's in private school now just because he's really smart.
Yeah.
And, they're in communication with other kids around the world. It's like they're looking at real issues already, and he's 12.
Wow.
I think that's... I'm starting to see that here's a goal and it's a rough one, but you can get there, and then they do it. I don't know. We also kind of skimmed him past video games.
He never got into it?
We didn't allow it. Like we did. His mom didn't.
Okay.
But, you know, no violence, no guns, no killing. If you were playing with your toys, you defeated him, right? You didn't kill him. Things like that.
Yeah.
We grew him up. I was a fuse until I was about 18. And I wanted nothing to do with that for him.
Okay.
So, like, he was reading a couple books a week real early, you know.
Wow.
Just because his mom is, like, super intelligent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's I think we're doing it right, but I don't know if it's the parenting or if it's the generation or if it's just the time. I don't know.
It could be a mix of a bunch of things,
Yeah.
right? It's all contributing to one.
There's lots of kids out there, though, that are not like that. So I think it's every generation has a couple.
Yeah, but his
ones.
group of friends, are they similar or?
Yeah. Well, they all come from the same place,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Yeah. We've been fortunate.
Nice.
Yeah.
Has he been on the show?
Not yet.
He should be on the show.
I know. He just got back from Africa. So I was thinking about...
What was he doing in Africa?
he was wrapping up his diving.
He's 12 years old,
Yeah,
right?
So I think he's fully now with the diving.
Certified.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, they stopped in a couple of different places. His mom's a mineral engineer. So, you know, she assesses mines and things like that.
Got
so
it, yeah.
she's all over the place. So kind of when her husband and Brollys can tag along to some of these things. He's been all over the place, man. Galapagos. I think they're going to spend. I better not say it. I'll tell you after. It's a secret.
Tell me afterwards, man.
But yeah, he's very traveled.
Do you still have to? I've always wanted to go to Africa. I haven't had a chance yet, but you got to get vaccine to that.
No idea. That's so outside of my world.
I think you have to take a bunch of shots just to.
He's still taking stuff now.
Okay.
Pills. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
right.
I think you have to. There's just so much shit in the water.
That's
and the
why.
bugs and
That's why, right? So
that's a tough place to look at, man.
yeah.
There's still a lot of crazy shit going on in that part of the world.
Well, it's nice that he's experiencing all that stuff. So then he's gonna grow up to be an interesting individual at that
think
point,
so,
right? So,
yeah.
does he have any interest in getting into construction?
No,
Nothing at all.
he wants to be an astronaut.
Wants to be an astronaut?
Yeah.
They need contractors up there anyway.
Right? Bring old dad.
I'm not joking. They do. They do need tradespeople up there. I'm telling you that right now.
That's exciting.
The Walt
to me.
should come up with like an astronaut suit, and please do not make it yellow.
Click. Yeah, right? Yeah.
Where is he? He's by the sun. I don't see him. It's all yellow. Look for the Milwaukee trade guy.
Right? Yeah. You got all the different trades up there looking like the Power Rangers. Perfect.
Where's Manny? Well, the blue one's over there. That's got to be Manny, right? I could see the tool belt on the outside and everything, and all the tools there, all tethered.
Like an octopus with the tethers. Yeah, exactly.
That's what would happen, man. It'd be like Armageddon or something like that. To get oil drillers up in space instead of getting
That was a cool movie.
astronauts and trying to teach them how to drill, man.
Yeah.
Shut up. It's a movie. Who cares?
I like how my generation growing up was so worried about like comets and like natural disasters and all that kind of stuff. Nobody gives a shit about it now, but it's real. Nobody's thinking about it.
Man.
Yeah.
I have no idea how we got into space with contractors, but we should. We should totally get out in space with contracting.
I'm in. Taping up there would be cool.
So what else are you going to be doing other than, I mean, okay, so you're doing the job. It's taking care of things. It's all good. But are there little projects that you haven't done yet that you want to tackle yet?
I've kind of dipped my hands into things that I like. This summer, I'm going to do some epoxy work. I'm going to build a table.
Good luck with that, eh?
I know.
I hear that. I've never tried it, but I hear that with your first attempt, you're going to have a leak.
Yeah.
Everybody has a leak somehow.
My cousin's got a farm. He doesn't know I'm going to ruin some of his grass.
You'll think it's perfectly sealed. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're going to be like, how the hell did I miss that one?
You come out, it's this far down from the top. Like,
Reach out to Rob from 13 Concept 13.
okay.
So he does epoxy all the time, man. So
Yeah.
he kind of knows. And same with Gary from Mayor's Carpentry.
Yep.
So they've done it as well too. But I know that everybody has talked about epoxy. They're like, there's always been a leak the first time out, man.
Well, it's like water, I would
Yeah.
assume, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it builds up pressure like concrete would, like if you got to reinforce everything. But
No, I don't think that you have to do. It's just more about the viscosity of it. It's just so thin like water. So then if there's a pinhole, it will find it.
Jesus.
So
Yeah. Well, I'll build 2 tables then.
yeah. Well, I'm just saying, prepare yourself. That it's not a mistake. It's a lesson.
That's right.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Did you learn from it?
Yeah. Because I'm working on the second table right now.
Yeah, exactly. This one's much better.
It's not leaking.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. Like I do some custom woodworking with Judd. I got JT Custom Carpentry on Instagram, and he does big Douglas fir things. He did a decade tiger wood. Like he's in a market, like a very niche market of designer stuff, and he lets me jump in on a lot of it, and I love those projects. When he calls, I cancel other shit. Like I enjoy it a lot.
Is he local? He's here?
He's out by me. Like
okay.
No, he's obviously got some properties. The type of guy he's got, type of guy he is. But he's out between me and Guelph, Cambridge and Guelph.
Okay.
Yeah. But same thing. It's only about a half an hour outside of his house. I think we've been as far as 45 minutes or something. But yeah, he's excellent carpenter. So that kind of stuff that we do is really fun, and I enjoy that. I think the most because you can zero fuck ups, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like if you screw it up, the beam's going to take how long to get the next one?
Yeah.
So you kind of can't.
Well, you got to measure 15,000 times and then cut once, right?
Yeah. He makes it look.
That goes back to the timber framing guys. Like they're just they have more procedural stuff to make sure that one cut is actually bang on perfect before they actually make that cut. So that's how we should do, right?
Man, some of those like where they're like trees still and they all kind of like fit together. I don't know if they're numbered or what they're doing, like those timber houses.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that, but I'm not sure.
That's a whole other. You'd have to spend some time and skill set and just practice all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I think every one of us, it doesn't matter which trade you are, if you're a plumber or HVAC or anybody at the top three or whatever. I think all of us want a workshop.
I'd love a workshop.
I think all of us want to watch just a workshop. I'm not talking about like converting a garage into a workshop. I'm talking about actually having a workshop space where you can have tools all set up properly. You can have air, all vacuum set up properly, everything set up properly, because there's going to be those moments during the course of the year that you're just going to want to go in there and tinker.
Yeah, totally.
Just tinker. Build something.
I see some of these guys that have like the vacuum set up with the hoses run and they just go and turn the dial and now we're right here, now we're there.
We're deflecting here and there.
I'd love to just do that. Just set them up,
Call the HVAC guys to come in and go, here, set me up a whole vacuum system here, and I need a diverter here, and I need a diverter here. Why do you want diverters? Just get them all working on the same time.
Don't worry about what I'm doing.
I'm never going to be using every single tool at the exact same time, so I just divert, man.
Yeah.
No, but it'd be nice to set that up.
I'd love to.
He must have a sweet one.
Yeah, he's got like a back shed kind of thing. He's got everything in the trailer, and it's all pretty well mobile.
Wow.
But the work that comes out on the other side is like he's got a facility. It's awesome, man. Yeah, there are very few people that my tail gets wagging like that when they call.
How long are you going to be doing the current job?
I don't know.
You haven't given yourself a deadline. No, you're enjoying it.
Yeah,
learning, and then.
Yeah, and we have conversations that I'm the best guy he's got, and like they do $500,000 projects, and I'm on the 2.2. Like I'm there for a reason.
Wow.
Right, and I think everybody understands that. I'm given the wiggle room that I need, but when I call for backup, it's like it's immediate, right? So it's a real good place to be. There's no toxic anything. I report to the owner. That was all part of the hiring process. I've worked in those situations where you got a guy above you that's like all your good ideas are his good ideas and everything he fucks up is your fault.
Yeah.
I was done with that. And I actually, when I went to take the contract, I was like, this is the way we're going to work it, and I'll wear my gear. And he's like, you won't be doing that actually.
Really?
So, the beginning of that interview, I was like, okay, well, I guess we're done here. And the guy was like, sit down. Right, let's just talk for a minute. And I talked to him for about a half an hour, and he's like, just like me in 20 years or 30 years or however old he is. He was a boots on the ground guy too. Everybody that he worked with prior to owning the company came with him, which said a lot.
Of what he did, what he built.
Well, and how easy he is to work with.
Yeah.
And, if you see somebody do something shady once, you're not going to follow them into the fire, right? Because you could be next.
Yeah.
At least that's the way I look at things. So, and he's not that kind of guy. So it's all easy peasy.
So enjoying it right now.
I really am.
Yeah.
If I could just figure out the rest of life and not working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it'd be great.
You got that one figured out?
Not yet. And then I'm like, you know what we should do is start a podcast.
It helps.
I love it, actually. I'm settling down. I got another one at 7.
Carlito, you got another one at 7 today?
Man. Yeah.
With who? Who do you got to talk to?
So Columbia, shout out to Columbia.
Yeah.
I had to. It's their Anglehead month. So
Okay.
I got the guy that they sent the Anglehead to this month coming on just to strictly talk about it. Yeah, and so I'm hoping we're going to do that every month. That's another 12 episodes for the year and so on and so forth. Yeah, it's, it'll probably be a half an hour.
I mean, Carlito always talked about how the show is therapeutic for him, right? But
Totally.
He needs therapy anyway, so that's why it was working for him, right? But it is. It's just having the conversation, talking to other people, and just trying to figure out how to make the industry better. That's as simple as that, man. But
the stories do that on Instagram for me a lot.
Yeah.
I start every morning with a big good morning and, talk about my day. But when I'm talking about my day in the morning, it's setting goals for the afternoon. I got to come back and tell everyone I didn't do it, right? So you do it. So it's every once in a while when something rattles your cage, though, you've got that audience. And if they don't want to listen, don't listen. And it's been real good for me. It's very therapeutic.
I'm actually enjoying. I get online in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I share what I'm going to share.
Yeah.
And then I disappear for the day.
Yeah, good for you.
And then at the end of the day, I take a peek at it and I see the dozens of messages that I'm looking at, and then I go one by one with them and I just reply.
I was shocked how
I disappear during the day.
Yeah.
I have to disappear during the day these days. I want to have my mind elsewhere.
Yeah, okay.
So I want to clear and just stay more focused on other things during the day.
That makes sense, though.
I know that people are sort of glued to social media and they get that adrenaline kick and they like all that shit, but I'm sorry, but it's just going to be like, I'm there in the morning, catch me in the morning, and then I might be in the evening. Sometimes not until even the next day.
Yeah.
And just how it is.
I feel like that adrenaline kick should not be coming from social media.
But it is.
Oh, it is. Yeah, and that dopamine or whatever you're getting, it's a real thing too. But, your accomplishments should come from outside of that.
People are forgetting to, like, okay, swing the hammer, man. There's such satisfaction to swing the hammer and get that kick from there.
I was sure that what I wanted to do was teach, and then I was working under a site super, and I was like, you know what I want to do is run it. This is my site. I want to run the site. And I did that for like 6 weeks and was like, I haven't touched a tool in 6 weeks. And then you're walking around watching everybody. It's fucking terrible. It is like prison where you are going to walk around and stare at everyone fucking everything up. And you're like, I should just be doing this all myself.
You're trying to step forward. You
can't, right? And then when you do, someone at the office fucks something up and then you're back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a good deal before. I like it now. I'm a working site super. So if there's stuff to do, I'm doing it.
So you'll grab it.
100%.
They're allowing you to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's driving you crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do the site. I know that a lot of guys recently have reached out to me and they're talking about considering taking jobs on like that.
It's big money.
That's what I say. I go, listen, man, just do the math.
Yeah.
Consider it. I mean, I'm telling you right now, just consider it. You're young. I mean, your body's going to be killing.
Mm-hmm.
Your body's already aching.
Yeah, mine is.
Why not fix it a bit and then ease up, do the math, and take that site super job?
Yeah, I took a look at, when that contract thing came in, I took a look at what I made the year before, and it wasn't quite triple, but it was definitely double. So it's
still like, good money, man.
That's what I mean.
And then you weren't having to worry about every little thing.
Nothing.
You have to still worry because there's still your scope, right?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Just do your job, though.
Yeah, but you're not worrying about every little thing, man.
You're not, arguing with people about when you're going to get the stuff that you've ordered. You're not going to argue with the clients. So you're getting paid. Deficiencies are deficiencies, but if you do your job properly, there aren't any, right? Oh, it's minimal. Yeah. As opposed to you own your own thing, and it's nuts all over the place.
I'm curious, what's the one construction bone to pick that you got going on these days?
Oh man, lying. Like stop lying.
People lie? About what? About their skill set?
Their skill set, the amount of guys they have, the quality of work that they bring to the table, how quickly they're going to do things. It rattles my cage. Yeah.
And then what? They're given the opportunity, and then the lie comes front and center?
Yeah. We had a framer who, the last time that we used him, he had like 10 guys with him or something like that. So he bid 2 jobs with us. And when he stopped showing up at one of them, we were like, the hell's going on here? And it's him and his kid and his daughter. And you've got 2 sites that we've let you bid. Unbelievable. And his work is shit.
So what happened to the crew?
Well, with the way that this guy acts and composes himself, they probably
all jumped.
left. Yeah, because I absolutely would have. Yeah. But, you present yourself as one thing, and then can you do it?
It's not sustainable, man. The guy's going to hurt.
Oh, you're going to keep moving every 2 years? And then put your tap dancing shoes on to go get more work? And
How old were the kids?
Probably my age.
Wow.
Maybe a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an old guy. It's tough. Yeah, I just feel like there's a certain amount of integrity out there. Like, okay, so in full transparency, when I started, I used to go, okay, this is all the materials, double that, and I'll install it because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, everyone did that. That was the math that we used.
Yeah.
Yes.
What will you not say no to?
Basically. Then you have some experience years, and you'll be like,
Yeah.
I like the word no.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great now.
But it takes some time.
Mm-hmm.
I think every trade, young or old, whatever, getting into it, they just want to please.
Yeah.
People please. Client please.
That was a hard one to get over.
Stop saying yes, man.
I know.
Yes is going to get you into trouble is what it happens, right? Listen to the people who have actually have said yes and then gotten into trouble, and we're just trying to get you to avoid this trouble. That's all we're trying to do.
So every year I do Sober October, and then a friend of
What
mine...
does that mean? Not a single drink in October?
Not a single drink in October.
That like alcohol?
Yeah. my pot goes through the roof, but the alcohol settles down a little bit.
Sober October.
Yeah, it's good for you, man. It's a good reset.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that first week you kind of sit back and go, I drink a lot, because you're like, I'm going to get some wings, maybe a couple of pints. And you're like, not this month, we're not.
So what do? You build up for November?
Yeah.
Crash and burn November.
Yeah, pretty much. Typically in September, I hit the gym hard.
Okay.
And then that's just a distraction. And then, you're kind of end of November before somebody coaxes you out, and then that one's a good one. But the rest of the year's not too bad. I actually did it twice last year. I think it was June or July. I did another sober month. I don't remember what kicked that off. There was a reason though. Maybe somebody else was doing it or whatever. It's this discipline thing, right? Once you've got your discipline tuned in, you got to start doing stupid shit to just continue that
you do
learning curve.
You do it to prove to yourself that you can achieve something that you don't think you can achieve.
That's right.
Simple as that. Like I do full cleanse 1 week, no food, just water, 7 days straight.
Okay.
I do that once a year. And 1 year I did it 4 times in 1 year. So basically 1 month of the entire year, I didn't have a single ounce of food, nothing at all. Just water.
That's got to feel good at the end.
It feels great. It feels absolutely amazing to do it, right? And obviously, I never did any medical supervision or anything like that. They just say you should go consult a doctor or whatever. Yeah. What, he's going to just tell me not to do it.
That's exactly what he's going to do.
It actually, there's a huge amount of benefits, but you should just be careful if you are going to do it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just saying that, but you should, because you need to know your body first of all, right? The very first time I ever did it, I was like, I don't know if I can fucking do this, really. Mm-hmm. Like, can I 7 days, no food at all?
Yeah.
You just plan it. Then you get smarter and you start realizing, listen, man, do it in the middle of the week so then you can actually finish it. The weekend will be that crest of the roller coaster.
Right.
It'll get you faster in the hardest days at the end, right? Because the hardest days are the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th day.
Because you're starving.
You're in starving mode at that point, right? But the first 2-3 days are easy enough. You can just walk through nothing at all. I remember 1 year I was doing it and I had a bunch of meetings that week. Okay. And everybody kept on suggesting, why don't we go to this pub? Why don't we go to this pub? Why don't we go to this pub? And I was like, sure. Mm-hmm. And I'd be going there going, nope, nothing for me. Just water. And that's it. Not even a lime inside of it. No booze, no food, nothing. Everybody else was just eating.
So just straight water.
And I was just like going, okay, fine. So you just discipline yourself at that point, right?
Yeah.
And it works. It helps your body rejuvenate, right?
That discipline was like, do the things that you say you're going to do. And now it's to the point where it's like, when I say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. Like I did do the cold showers in the morning now.
Oh, dude, I do that all the time.
It's the best. And it sucks.
Now I do it. So now I do it when I wake up.
Yeah, that's when,
So I wake up, get out of bed, and I do my push-ups.
Yep.
Then in the back of my head, I got to jump in the cold shower.
Yep.
So you do the cold shower. you're fucking screaming.
Yeah.
I don't care what you're
I'm
doing.
not very happy about it.
You're screaming,
Yeah.
but it's seconds before you realize your body has attacked itself, and the blood is flowing all through your body now.
Yeah.
And that cold water, literally less than a minute ago, that was freezing, is warm.
Yeah.
Like warm.
You're like, ooh.
How is this water still warm? I didn't change the dial on the knob there.
Yeah.
It's warm, and it's warm because your body is fighting that cold. It fucking is beautiful, man.
Yeah. It gives you an idea of what's going on, for sure.
I let it pound on my head and my neck.
Right,
you just feel it there. Right? I haven't done the ice baths yet. I want to get into doing that.
I got to find when I get fitted.
It's true, too. You're going to have to you have to weld 2 tanks together or something like that, right?
I was looking at one of those, like a horse trough. I was going to put that in the backyard this year and then just start walking out there and dunking in it.
Just put the water out and then just break the ice at the cover. That's it. And then just jump in,
thought about
right?
it.
I'm telling you, it's actually very beneficial for you, man.
Yeah, yeah. The way your body reacts is a lot of good stuff. When I was in Sudbury doing that booster juice, the plumber has this cabin wherever north, and this is like middle of winter, it's like November. And every day he would leave, go out there and hop in like a fucking lake or whatever with his brother. And they did it every day. And it was, I thought he was the craziest person I've ever met until I started hearing more about it. I was like,
you breathe better.
Yeah.
You feel better. You feel stronger.
I absolutely do.
I can't tell you the last time I had joint ache pains or anything like that.
Oh, I totally can tell you.
Well, I trust me, and I've been renovating a lot lately, and I'm like going, jackhammers, Brute, Bosch, that thing's a beast in it. I don't remember it being that hard.
Yeah.
But it helps you with the joints, man. Mm-hmm. Totally helps you with that shit, right? So I'm telling all the youngins, don't take advantage. Okay, sure, we all are super men and women when we're in our 20s.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you that shit fucking disappears real fast.
Totally.
If you start ignoring what your body's telling you. So it's not until you get into your 30s and 40s and you start getting older that you start realizing, cold showers work and cleansing works. Yeah.
And multivitamins and stretching. And I got into
stretching is paramount, man.
Yeah. I got into a car accident maybe 4 years ago. And this lady wrote my car off in stop and go traffic.
How?
Obliterated it. I have no idea. Like she must have tried to. The guy back here slams on his horn, so I go like this. Plant my foot, did everything you're not supposed to do. And just, it was bad. But then we got into stretching. And you wake up, can't put your socks on, and then you stretch and you do this and you do that. And you're like, okay, no, this works. So then on the days that you feel good and you stretch, you feel great.
I tell all tile setters start stretching.
It's tough on your hands and feet all day. I couldn't do it. Well, I'm sure I could, but
stretch, man.
Yeah.
Do that morning pose and just bow down to the gods or whatever.
Yeah.
Just stretch that lower back, stretch the thighs, stretch all this shit. Now in the cold showers, I'm doing squats while I'm in there.
That's smart.
So I'm already in there.
Yeah.
I'm warmed up right now.
Add to the sun.
I'm just going to do squats because guess what? I'm moving, so I'm warming up.
Yeah.
It actually helps a little bit, man. So I'm
You're
okay,
nuts, man.
this is cool. This is good.
Yeah.
It'd be nerve-wracking if I have to start doing squats in the ice bath at that point, right? But
you're just plunking yourself back in.
The next one is a sauna. I got to focus on trying to get a sauna.
Yeah, those heat shock proteins.
Yeah, man, that's why. So I got to figure out how I'm going to do that because that's really beneficial for your body.
Yeah, I feel like you almost need a shop for all this stuff, right?
So you got to build a workshop and you have all these tools, but then you have the ice bath and the sauna.
Perfect.
That's what you need, man. You need all that shit so then you can push the body and then recover the body.
Yeah.
All the young guys listening, man, just listen to the older guys that go through pain and we're solving how to figure it out without drugs.
Yeah.
Or alcohol, right? Any kind of vices, right? Because it's easy to go to those to kind of fix those problems.
Yeah, when people talk about drinking in the trades, the older guys, I get it, but I think it's because you're just so sore, right? And you're just
an alcoholic drink will not fix your soreness.
No, you just don't care about it.
It will numb it.
Yeah.
Right? But it's still going to be there, man.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, so let's do a little Green Book talk here.
Oh, boy.
Don't worry, there's no right or wrong answers, and it's definitely no worker operating machine so as to affect excavation wall stability. What's the fine for that? If you start causing the excavation wall to kind of cave in. If you start messing around with that as an operating machine worker, what do you think the fine is for that?
$10,000.
$250, man.
Oh, I think mine should be more.
That's insane.
You're gonna kill someone for $300?
$250, man. Like, I don't know these numbers, man. I want it to be higher, but I would never do that.
Yeah, we got into this thing. I was building a Pacini restaurant, and the guy that came in the lowest, right? This is the other. We'll get into that later. He came in the lowest, and then when it came time, I've dug my holes. We were like, get this extra dirt out of here, and he's like, I didn't quote for that. I quoted for clean fill, is what he said, and we didn't have a clean fill certificate, and he wasn't going to handle it. So then the office and him got into this pissing match, but for like a week, I had all this extra shit all over my site. Well, doesn't the safety rep show up and go, yeah, this is a 4-foot hole with, 4 feet of fucking dirt above it. That's an 8-foot hole. You're done.
Shut it down?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So who got the ticket? You guys got
Nobody got a ticket because nobody was in the holes.
Okay.
But it was, quote unquote unsafe. So it shuts it down. Maybe the office did get a ticket, but I don't think so. I think it was like you've got X amount of time to figure this out. So we had him come back. They went through all the clean fill tickets, got him back to do it, but we got shut down.
So why didn't he?
It was a money thing, right?
How much money are we talking about here?
Well, I don't know. Probably nothing, to be honest. I don't know what a clean fill ticket costs.
I have no idea.
Yeah, neither do I. But I think the difference is when you're taking it somewhere, if it's clean, it's probably just taken. I don't know. I don't know what the difference is. But
why wouldn't he? Okay.
Well, you'd come in higher, I guess. I don't know.
But why didn't he scope that out anyway to begin with? Why didn't he suggest when you guys were tendering it, I guess, going, listen, am I responsible for clean fill? Why didn't he say that? He's the professional of that trade.
He's supposed to be. Yeah, I think in my opinion, guys do sneaky things where they'll be very precise about what things say. Mm-hmm. And then they know that they'll be able to get extras here and extras here and extras here. So I can come in at lower because I know here and here and here I'm going to make that up with the extras.
That's not the way to do it.
It's a shit way to do it, but it is an easy way to get lowest bid.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies just need that lowest bid, right? A smaller
They
company.
get the job once they're on the site. They go after the extras at that point.
Yeah.
You want me to take it or you want a ticket later on?
Yeah.
Yeah, but guess what? You wouldn't work with that person again.
Never again. Yeah.
So it's a one-off.
Yeah, but a one-off here, one-off there, one-off here, one-off there. You burn every bridge that you own, and then what? Right? You move? What do you do after that?
A lot of guys do that.
Change your name?
A lot of guys do that. Change the magnet on the van, on the truck.
Yeah, when I got headhunted the first time, I got brought in with a guy who just did a big rebrand, and I saw that as a positive thing. He's putting a bunch of money back into his company, and this is going to be great. Look at all this new gear. We all look good. He was rebranding because he's burning bridges everywhere he goes.
Wow.
Right? And this guy ended up firing me after building him a booster juice basically single-handedly in Sudbury.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I stood back and was like, that makes a lot of sense. Probably made a lot of fucking money doing that. But I'll never work with him again.
See, but a lot of younger guys are doing that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the younger guys don't know. And nobody taught them because nobody's got the patience to teach anymore.
But it's about building relationships. Communication.
Yeah.
Which is a lack of.
It goes back to that infinite and finite game. You know about that? I think it's Simon Sinek. And he says there's two ways to run a business. The finite game, like we're going to win.
Yeah.
And then the infinite game that we're going to be here tomorrow. So, Apple is one of these infinite game people, right?
Yeah.
And then Microsoft is a finite. They're always trying to beat Apple. But Apple's just being Apple.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's two ways of doing it. I imagine one's not as stressful as the other. Yeah. But I don't think a lot of people think like that. I think they want everything right now. There's no planning. Like, ask people if they got a 10-year plan. Their answer is no.
They don't have 10-year plans.
And
the problem also is that when things get lean.
Yes.
So when the industry gets lean and you're trying to, I just got a phone call the other day from somebody. asking me if I could, for whatever reason, I mean, I wasn't really expecting this. They're like, listen, you've interviewed a lot of GCs. Is there any way you could drop my name to them? I was like, yeah, sure. I could, I guess, whatever. But I mean, like when things get lean, you're going to want to somehow get introduced to certain people. Yeah. But if you're not leaving a good lasting impression, like there's only so much I could vouch for. I
don't do that anymore.
Right.
Because you vouch for somebody and they have an off week. Even if it's just an off week, you're now the guy that can't be trusted, like me, because
it's true.
It's hard, man. Now I got guys that I vouch for, and if I do, they're 100. And
they'll deliver.
And they're delivering.
Because they know what you've done. Right.
And I know what they've done, and it's a mutual respect. It's like if somebody's asking me to vouch for them, it's got to be 1,000% knocked out of the park, or I'm going to be furious.
Yeah.
And the guys that do, they do. But I don't think everyone is.
That's just the construction in general, man. Shawn, what else you want to chat about before we get to the 12 questions, man?
Ooh.
I don't know. What else? We talked a lot, man. I kind of like where this thing went. We went all over the place talking a lot of stuff, man.
That's how my brain works.
It's just how it is, man. I love multitasking inside my cabeza is what basically you're doing, right? So is there anything else you want to share before we do the 12 questions?
You know what? Can I check my phone?
Of course you can. Why? Go ahead. There's no rules on the show.
You're like, no.
No. What are you looking for?
I wrote some stuff down.
Oh, did you really? Check it then.
Yeah. Good enough isn't good enough. That was huge. I like that a lot. You still baking?
Baking?
Yeah.
Listen, my freezer is full of fucking ripe bananas, and I have yet to fucking make my banana bread because I have no fucking time. I love my banana bread, but I'm not, I kid you not. I'll fucking take a picture. I must have, I would say maybe 12 fucking bananas in the freezer right now, waiting to be made into banana bread.
That's something I need to learn how to do is start baking.
Been cooking more.
Yeah, I cook a lot.
You know what I mean? When I do spend some time online, I'm coming across some nice recipes, and I'm like going, I could fucking do that. Totally, I could do that.
I like stress cook.
Yeah.
I like pick up a Ramsey recipe and then like go get all the fresh shit.
Yeah, that fucker makes the things look just way too easy, man. And I'm like, it's not that easy, man. It's good though.
Yeah, if I watch it a dozen times.
No, you got to do that. You screen grab, you download, you get everything there.
Totally.
And you can't. I can't watch it over and over and over and over. I can't absorb it that way. You got to give me the 10 Commandments right now, and I got to read it and just do it right.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. So why? What other questions you got, man?
No, that was pretty much it. We kind of hit all the rest of them. I want to talk about women in the trades and like. Just a couple of the comments that you've made in the first couple of episodes, but we kind of touched on them all.
That's so long ago, man.
I know. That's why I was like, they'll be good because
first couple of episodes, I'm trying to. Well, yeah, good enough is not good enough. That was the pilot. That was the beginning of it, right? Yeah. So it's just
that's what
like,
stuck me to it.
Yeah, like I always felt that it made no sense. Like you're already there. Why not build it this way? I've always argued this on the show. It takes you just as long to do it perfect,
correct,
as it did. If it's going to do it like shit, like
if it sucks, you're going to redo it.
Yeah.
And how many times are you going to do that before you are going to hit that plateau of what it would have cost to do it properly?
The other day I was working on the vent pipes and all of a sudden I jogged a bunch of shit back and forth. I actually I'm trying to fit 4 vents going up in the same direction and they're all converging into the same area because they're actually servicing 4 different fixtures, right?
And that just makes the most sense.
Yeah, so that was the perfect spot for it, but then there was a lot of configuring going on, right? And all of a sudden, I had the third one going, and then whatever reason, the elbow just was slightly off, like 2 or 3 degrees off.
Yep.
And I was like, it's fine. And then it was eating away at me in the back of my head. I was like, it's not fucking fine. Cut it, coupling, chinned it. And that was it. The cost of a coupling, the seconds that it took to cut it, and then redid it. Now I look at it, it's straight. Thank you very much.
I sleep better tonight.
That's just so good enough. That's just, you got to push it that way. You got to push it that far, right?
And when you are expecting it, you have to lead by example.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't ask anybody to do anything that I haven't either done before or would be happy to do if you don't. And I don't think there's enough of that either. I think a lot of people, they're figuring out what they want to do and skipping a bunch of steps. Like if you weren't a laborer, right? Like you're just never going to understand.
Yeah.
Having conversations with higher ups about like, as opposed to why can't we do this? It's why isn't it done?
Yep.
Right? Because you speak a different language. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of guys and girls in the industry that take a huge amount of pride in the industry, man.
I think there is. I'm seeing more and more of them, especially now with the podcast.
Yeah.
There's a big young crowd coming up they're working just as hard as I was, and I love it. But there's also a lot that aren't, right? Of course.
But it gives you hope.
I've got tons of hope now.
It gives you hope, right? That there is some possibilities out there, because it is funny that lately, I think I mentioned this already on another show, is that over the holiday break, a lot of guys reached out, talked to me about getting out. Yep. They're done. They're tapping out. They want to move on. And I'm like, I'm not surprised. I just said, I'm not surprised, dude.
It's a lot of work, man.
It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work, right? And to maintain it, you got to kind of understand or respect the guys that have been doing it for 2, 3, 4, 5 decades and what they've seen and what they've been through. But the one thing I did say to a couple of the guys that I was chatting with is that I've got respect for all those guys that have been through 2, 3 recessions or whatever. Mm-hmm. They've gone through so many financial losses, like 7-figure losses, right?
Yeah,
collectively, exactly, right? But I still say that generation, that older generation, has yet to understand the competition that we're up against.
Okay.
So when I say the crop of talent that's coming into the pipeline,
right,
there's so many other options out there.
Oh, for sure.
Other than construction. And this older generation that's getting out never had to go through that.
Yeah.
So their pool of talent,
mm-hmm.
that competition wasn't there. It is now. Right. And that's what we're fighting against. So it's going to be a different wave now. Like I know that there's that gap here in the industry that, a lot of guys are leaving 2026, 2027.
Yeah.
They're leaving, and then a lot of the young guys are coming in, but those young guys are in their 20s, early 30s. There's nobody in between.
Well, who taught them? Yeah. There was a stat that was like 2023, it's 750,000 people are going to retire that year. That's a big number.
When that number's not being replenished, that's a huge number.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, there's a term that I'm starting to like a little bit. It's called escape velocity. You know what I mean?
I've heard that.
Where you don't have to do anything anymore. You're choosing to. And I think that's a difficult thing to obtain. Mm. And I just think people want to be there right away. Right? Where I don't want a boss. Okay, well, how are you going to do this? Oh, I'll learn how. How are you going to learn how without a boss, right? Like you've got to find somebody that's going to coach you, and then when you're done learning there, you have to move on.
Yeah,
like it's. I'm loyal. I still talk to Pat.
Yeah,
off and on, like but you can still respect somebody and be loyal to them without working under them anymore.
Yep.
Because there's more to learn.
You're gonna work with them,
or with them.
You should be looking at how to figure out how to work with them.
Yeah.
Shawn, man, thanks so much for being on the show.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Dude, it's been a blast having you on the show, man. Everybody reach out to him, Brollys Dad Construction at gmail.com, Brollys Dad Construction on Instagram, and also your podcast, Brollys Dad, right? So is it Brollys Dad Construction?
No, it's just Brollys Dad
Brollys Dad, that's what I thought, yeah. So what channels are you on? You're on all the channels.
For some reason, Apple's dragging its feet, but I'm on Spotify, YouTube,
what hosting are you with?
Podbean.
Yeah, but that should automatically connect you to Apple.
Yeah, I clicked on it, and they're letting me know when they're ready. So I'm not promoting it on Apple anymore. It's on Spotify.
Apple's letting them know when you're ready?
Yeah, it said we'll get back to you, whatever. I'll show you after.
Kiss my asshole.
Yeah, fuck you is my answer, yeah. Samsung didn't seem to have an issue with it.
All of a sudden I lost Apple.
Yeah.
No. Check out his show. Ready for the 12 questions?
Yeah, give her.
What is your favorite construction word?
Probably fuck.
What is your least favorite construction word?
Extra.
What turns you on in construction?
Perfection.
What turns you off in construction?
Probably lying. Same kind of thing.
What's your favorite curse word?
It's for sure is fuck.
What's your favorite vehicle in the entire world?
And if I had like an H1 Hummer, yeah, like military grade, like depleted uranium bottom, you know what I mean?
The cool one before it became commercial.
Yeah,
whatever
the one
it
we all
was.
want.
Yes. Gas guzzling, general engine. What is it, like a 22 rise or something?
I have no
22-inch rise or something?
I know nothing about
It
cars.
can go over other cars, right?
That was the idea.
What is your least favorite vehicle?
Probably like the little race cars.
Any
Like
kind of
little Civics and that kind of.
you
But
mean
I don't feel like people put in the wrench time and it sounds like they do. And it's like you couldn't race with it, but you're just being loud.
with that huge muffler? That
Yeah,
pipe,
right.
man. What construction sound or noise do you love?
Oh, that like zipping of the auto taper. It's like zzz.
Oh, I know what you're talking
It's
about.
my favorite.
Yeah,
It's my favorite.
What construction sound or noise do you hate?
Probably like the squealing of a grinder against metal. Yeah.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt one day?
I don't know.
Nothing tickles. Bacon? No?
Yeah, baking's perfect. Like to be a baker.
What profession would you not like to do?
Plumbing, easy.
Plumbing?
Yeah, there'll be no shit on my hands ever.
Fucking glue all over my hands.
And glue, yeah.
I do like the smell of it.
Well,
I like asphalt smell too. Freshly laid asphalt.
that gives me heartburn, I feel like,
I
man.
fucking love that smell.
Really?
That
Oh.
smell to me is summer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's summer, man.
That to me is them doing the roof of the building I'm building. So
Summer.
It's all day.
Summer.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
That's
That's all you need. That's all you need him to say.
Yeah.
Shawn, absolute pleasure, man. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks, man.
Everybody check him out, Brollys Dad Podcast, and also Brollys Dad Construction at gmail.com, and on Instagram, Brollys Dad Construction. That's it.
All right.
Thanks, man. We're out of here, Angelina. Thank you.